You don't have to believe me. I'll lie enough for the both of us. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am IAmRafael and I am here to review part 2 of the reunion to the Real Housewives taking down Lisa Barlow of Salt Lake City. So we start the second part of the reunion right where we left off with Lisa being questioned on why Jen wasn't invited to her son Jack's event for Fresh Wolf, his product that he's selling, and why Whitney was invited instead of Jen, knowing that their relationship is on rocky terms. And Lisa, she goes on and tells Andy and the group, she's just like, no Andy, I mean, the thing you don't understand is like, I invited Whitney only because I talked to my husband John and he said that it was a good idea. I mean, he was the one that said, just keep trying. Maybe your friendship with her is going to get better. That's why. It wasn't because I hated Jen or anything. It's just me and Jen, we had just gotten off the phone and we had just gotten into it. So that's why, I wasn't going to invite her to my event right then and there. So Andy's just like, okay, fine. I understand that. And then Meredith, she jumps in because she's not okay with this. So she jumps in and she's like, now Lisa, wait a minute, wasn't I the one that defended you at Mary's luncheon when everybody was saying, how come you're not inviting Jen? How come you're not inviting Jen? Wasn't I the one that defended you and said, not everybody is gonna be invited to every single event? Everybody's not invited to everything, and that's okay, Some people get invitations and some don't. And Lisa's just like, I do agree that, yeah, you did defend me. And Meredith, she put it out there because Andy was just like, oh, look at Meredith. She's making a case for herself. And Meredith is just like, well, yeah, I used to be a lawyer, or I am a lawyer. And again, I forget that she's a lawyer. I forget that anybody has a job outside of Housewives. Like, I assume that they just go to dinner and fight with each other for a living and that's it. But yeah, I forget that Meredith is a lawyer. Can you just imagine? I said this before, but can you imagine her in the courtroom like, excuse me, Your Honor, my client, I believe that they're not guilty. I'm sorry. You're going to give them the guilty? No, I'm sorry. They're innocent. I am disengaging, Your Honor. I am disengaging. Like, can you imagine her in court? And by the way, speaking of Meredith, so my outfit for this review, for part 2 of the reunion is Meredith inspired. Look, I'm wearing a Meredith inspired look. I feel like doing the salsa in this outfit. I like it. I can see why she wore what she wore to the reunion. I know everybody has their opinions of it and they think that it's hideous, but as you're wearing this, I'm wearing a similar look and I kind of like it. I kind of feel it a little bit. So I can see how she feels about it. But then they move on to Jenny. Andy's just like, so Jenny, how come you didn't do anything all season besides attack Mary? And how come you didn't defend your friend Lisa? And again, I completely forgot that Jenny and Lisa were even friends because, Jenny didn't really make it a point to like kind of, stand her ground with Lisa or kind of defend her. I completely forgot that they were friends. Like every now and then I would remember like, oh yeah, Jenny was brought onto the show by Lisa. I completely forgot about that. Jenny, as soon as she tries to open her mouth, Meredith and Whitney jumped on her like sharks. Like, Jenny was just like, oh yeah, I was trying to, and then here comes Whitney. Whitney was just like, no, you weren't trying to defend her. I'm sorry, no, you just sat there and you didn't say anything. And then Meredith was just like, oh, Johnny, I'm sorry, but you didn't really do anything. All you did was just sit there and do nothing at all. Like, you were just, you were just taking up space on the bus. And then they played the flashbacks to the, when she was in the van, when they were on their way to Vel, when they were all talking shit about Lisa and saying, oh, she's a master manipulator. She does this, she does that. Jenny, she just sat there quietly like, we all remember that when she was just drinking the beer while everybody else was crying over Jen and talking about Lisa and all this and all that. I believe it was that moment or a different situation when they were on the bus. But regardless, in the flashback, Jenny wasn't doing anything. You really never really defended Lisa, even if you are supposed to be friends. So I was shocked about that. And then they move on to the next conversation about Meredith and this memorial situation. And honestly, what I got from this conversation is, like I said before in a previous review, I just feel like it was a huge misunderstanding. I know that everybody was coming after Lisa because Lisa was being torn up to pieces at this reunion. Like, this part specifically, I'm like, Lisa, come on, you have to do something. Like, call backup, call somebody because you're just getting torn to pieces by everybody on this reunion stage, including Andy, because Andy kept grilling her. And I'm confused too. Why are we all targeting Lisa when Jen is right there? She has this huge case open and nobody's questioning her about anything. I'm confused about that. And then when it came to this memorial conversation, I'm confused as to why it was pinned on Lisa and why wasn't it pinned on Heather or Whitney or even Jenny? Because again, Jenny was the one that kind of put it out there. Do we really believe that Meredith was really at her memorial when she was in the van when they were heading to Vail, I believe? So I'm confused why everything was pinned on Lisa. And Lisa, again, she took the fault by it and she kept putting her foot in her mouth by saying, oh, well, I called Meredith. I put it on speaker. She said that she was at her family's memorial, blah, blah, blah. And again, it was a big misunderstanding in my opinion, because Lisa at the time, we all remember that the Homeland Security and the police, they had just arrived at the van a couple seconds after, I believe, or before. She made that phone call to Meredith. So of course Lisa was shooken up. So of course she was probably like mixing everything in her head. Like she couldn't think properly. She didn't mean any harm by it. So I'm not sure why everybody was trying to crucify her for it, And Meredith, she finally lets us know that the reason that when Lisa did call her, she was inside the bathtub in Vail, I believe, right? Yeah, that's what she said. She was in the bathtub and that her father was already buried in Aspen. That why would she even pick up the phone call? And Lisa said she was confused as to why she was whispering. I just feel like it was a huge misunderstanding. Like, okay, Lisa messed up the days by like 1 day. So what? It was by accident. I don't think she was trying to do it maliciously. Yes, she has a past to being like a snake and a liar and a manipulator, but I don't think in this specific situation she was trying to do anything of harm to Meredith. But then Andy, this is how you know that this whole reunion should have been a part 2, because Andy's just like, oh, okay, well, that's enough. I guess we're just going to talk about random things after we come back. We're going to go on a lunch break. I have sandwiches and chicken nuggets in the back. So everybody just go over there and fluff your feathers and go lint roll your velvet dresses. And we're going to come back in like maybe 20, 30 minutes and, make it quick. So everybody gets up. They're all kind of struggling on the snow. They all head back. Lisa, she just has to talk to Meredith. And she tries to whisper to her. And I'm just like, Lisa, stop trying to mend fences with people, or Meredith specifically, underneath your breath as if you're not mic'd up. Stop trying to do that. Like, wait till the cameras go back up, because she goes up to Meredith and she's just like, so Meredith, I just want to say, like, I really wanted to talk to you and stuff. I really wanted to talk to you. I love you. Meredith wasn't having any of it. Meredith was just like, I'm sorry, Lisa. No. I don't really know what else to believe right now. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go fluff my feathers right now. No. I'm not doing this. Get away from me with your Christmas gift outfit on. I'm gonna go in the back. And then Lisa's just like, you know what? Fine. It's okay. So she gets up as well. Lisa, she grabs her phone and then she heads back. And this is the power of editing, because it looked like Lisa had walked away from the reunion in the trailer, but obviously she was just going to take a shit in the trailer. She didn't really walk away. She hasn't walked away at all from this whole entire reunion, even if everybody was coming at her. But she's walking away. She goes inside her trailer or whatever, and she's talking. And again, she's mic'd up. And then she starts complaining to the producers. You guys knew what you were doing when you left that rant in the episode. You painted a narrative of me, and now everybody's looking at me as if they can't trust me, as if I'm the bad person now. Like, you should have just cut that. I was on a rant. I was upset. You knew what you were doing. And I'm looking at Lisa like, Lisa, what do you mean that they knew what they were doing? Of course they did. They're filming a TV show. And it's not like they gave you a script like, Lisa Barlow, can you just read off of this script? We're going to film you. We're going to edit it to make you look bad. This came out of your own mouth. And those were the exact feelings that you felt about Meredith in the moment. You may not have felt like that now, but in the moment, that's how you felt about Meredith. So, I mean, I'm not sure why you were mad and why you were trying to play the victim and trying to, say that, oh, you're trying to paint me out to be the bad person. If you didn't want to be painted out as a bad person, you should have never went on that rant in the first place. After everybody comes back from their lunch break, Andy asks the entire group, so did anybody receive any mean text messages from Mary? And everybody raises their hands except Jenny. And Jenny was probably pissed at that too. She was probably backstage like, how come Mary is not texting me anything mean? How come she's not texting me? Did anybody give her my number? That is so disrespectful. Like, at least have some type of courtesy to text me something mean. How could you? How dare you, Mary? Like, I can't believe this. Like, what kind of person is she? Jenny was complaining like that of not receiving anything from Mary. Then Meredith, she jumps in and she's like, well, the reason why Mary texted me a couple mean text messages was because after the whole situation with Jenny and Jenny throwing the glass at her, she was a little bit upset at me. So I can understand why she was upset. But yeah, she texted me. And honestly, I could completely understand why she would give the heat to Meredith the most, because both of you had a friendship. I could understand to a certain extent with the rest of the women. They didn't defend Mary or whatever. They were kind of having they were at odds with Mary. I could understand it to a certain extent. But Meredith, you were supposed to be her friend and you didn't stick up for her. You didn't even go check on her or anything. It was Zeph who went to do it, your own husband. So Honestly, if I was married, I would have took a selfie of me with my middle finger up and sent it in a group chat like, oh yeah, F all of you. I'm not coming back for season 3. And I'm not coming back to the reunion. So then they continue on with the conversation about Mary's church. And then Andy's just like, so here, I mean, does anybody believe, I mean, I know Jen, Whitney, and Meredith, all 3 of you have went to Mary's church. Do all 3 of you believe that her church is a cult? And it got so quiet. I mean, you could hear the feathers in Jen's dress just waving around. Like, it was that quiet. It was full of tension because you know they probably all wanted to say yes. But Meredith, she said no. She was just like, no, I mean, I went to her church and I didn't really get a reason to actually, feel any type of cult vibe from her church. Whitney, all of a sudden, Whitney wants to backpedal with everything that she's been saying all season. And she's just like, no, I don't think so. When me and my Tickle Me Elmo went to her church, I didn't feel any cult vibes. I mean, I thought everything was fine. I think Mary's a great person. And I'm just like, so now you're saying all of this now. But just a second ago, the entire season, it was Mary's a church, Mary's a cult leader, Mary's the cult leader, Mary's this, that, and the third. She's God, everybody's scared of her. Like, that's all you've been saying all season. And now, here at the reunion, it's a whole different tune. Jen, I actually liked her response to the question because she was just like, well, I mean, I feel like there's a cult vibe to every single church to a certain extent. And I actually agree with her because if y'all remember in one of my reviews, when Jen went to go visit Mary at her church, I did say that Mary's church did give me cult vibes. I mean, everything about it just gave me cult vibes, but it's not even just her church specifically. I feel like that about every single church, including the Mormonism church, because even Heather made a point like a couple minutes later when she was just like, well, the Mormonism church, that could be a cult also, because again, everybody follows these strict religion rules, and look at Heather and her family. They all iced her out of the family completely, and they don't talk to her anymore, and they don't talk about Bruno because of the whole, oh, you have to be a Mormonism. You have to be a Mormon. You have to be a Mormon. And he's just like, so Lisa, you're friends with Cameron, or you used to be friends with Cameron before he passed away. Rest in peace. But how do you feel about him? And then Lisa went on her whole entire act. She swore she was auditioning for a movie role or whatever because she started crying. And I'm just like, what kind of crying is this? Because she was just like, Cameron was such a good guy. I'm sorry, Andy, give me 1 second. Cameron, he was such an amazing guy, and he was... Hold on, I'm not crying. Give me 1 second, Andy, hold on.
A few crying moments later.
As soon as she said that, it all went away. She was just like, so anyway, yeah, let's talk about Cameron. I was just like, okay, so I guess we're choosing when to cry and when to not on cue. But okay, Lisa, with these crocodile tears. Because I didn't see not one tear come down her eye. Andy, again, he questioned her about Cameron. She says that, yeah, like they were good friends and everything. And then Meredith, she jumps in and she's like, I want to know, Lisa Barlow, really quickly, was Cameron on the Youth of Utah Foundation? Was he on the board of that? I want to know. And then Lisa's just like, yeah, he was. What are you talking about? Yeah, he was always part of the board. I don't know what you're talking about, because now the whole issue between the group what was the point of Lisa bringing Cameron to the event and introducing him to Meredith? And honestly, I feel like she was just trying to be messy. She was just trying to kind of put a grenade between them and see what came out of it. She probably put Cameron in Meredith's face, like, okay, he's gonna tell her a couple suspicious things about Mary and her church, and Meredith is gonna question it, and Meredith is gonna be like, you know what? I need to stay away from Mary because I don't know, this guy, he used to be with her church and he used to be around her, so I don't know. I mean, how much do I really know of Mary? Except Meredith didn't take the bait. Now, the person who did take the bait is standing right across the stage in a green dress. Which is Whitney, and Whitney's just like, yeah, I know. Lisa knew what she was doing when she introduced Cameron to Meredith, except Meredith didn't fall for it. I did. You know, Lisa always just put the fire, and she gives me the baton. Yeah, me, I always fall for it. And I'm just like, okay, Whitney, that's nothing to be proud of. Like, whose fault is it that you're dumb? And that you're always falling for Lisa's manipulation? Because of her, you had your own self in the hole that you were in with Mary, with the whole, oh, she's a cult leader, she's a cult leader, because you ran with what Lisa was trying to get Meredith to do. But instead of Meredith, you fell for it. So whose fault is that for not having their own brain? That's yours. And Lisa, she was also tweeting last night. She was posting receipts and screenshots of her foundation or the foundation of Utah, whatever they were arguing about. And she did have a screenshot of Cameron being put on the board. Like he was on the board. So here in this conversation on the reunion, Meredith was just like he was not on the board. But Lisa on Twitter, she posted that that he was on the board, and then she posted receipts. So I'm not sure why she didn't bring that to the reunion. People were saying that maybe she just kind of edited him in now recently. Like, oh, she just put him on the board now. And then I believe Meredith replied to the tweet and she was like, no, I remember when he wasn't on the thing of Utah. Like, you just put him on like 2 seconds ago. Back when he was alive, he wasn't. So I'm confused about that. So, and then they bring up the whole conversation about, oh, did Cameron finance his house for $300K and gave it to Meredith? Gave it to Mary, I believe. Meredith was just like, Lisa, did he actually do that? Because you told me off camera that he didn't. And Mary also told me that too. So I'm confused. Please elaborate on that one. And you know, this is a problem that I'm having with this cast specifically. A lot of conversations and a lot of things go on behind the cameras that we, the audience, don't see. And then when they're talking about it, we're like, wait, when did this happen? Or what's going on? Or is there more to this? Because I'm confused. The same way that Whitney and Heather constantly are coming at Lisa, it's just like, where is that coming from? Like, what happened behind the cameras that we are not seeing between all three of them or between the entire cast? Lisa's telling Meredith, Lisa started stumbling on her lies. Like, she was caught up in her web of lies. I mean, I'm just like, Lisa, what are you doing? Lisa was just like, no, it wasn't 300K. It was like half of that. Yeah, no, like, no, he did sell his house. No, he rented it. No, I mean, no, Meredith, no, he did do it. No, yeah, no, yeah, look over there. No, like, it's fine. Andy, move on to the next question quickly. You still want to answer, Meredith? No, I'm sorry, I can't give you one. Like, Lisa was just stumbling on her lies, and obviously, at the end, she says that she got her calculations wrong, and that wasn't the exact number. But who gets that type of number wrong? I mean, it's 300K versus what 10% of what Meredith was telling you that you said. So, Lisa, again, I don't know. If you're going to be a liar, you better own up to it or be a good liar and be quick with it, because you were just being shredded to pieces on this stage. Andy then asked Lisa, why were you so upset that Whitney texted Cameron trying to get some answers out of him from the things that he told Meredith about Mary's church and how Whitney should look out because she doesn't know who she's dealing with? And here comes Lisa bringing out props again. I mean, she brought out her portfolio, she brought out her thesis statement from college, and on top of that, she brought out her binocular glasses. I wanted to pull a Nene Leakes and just tell her, like, oh, okay, glasses, hold on right there. She puts on these binocular glasses and she's like, well, I got a couple text message screenshots, Andy. Like, look, here's some screenshots. Like, read them out loud. And then here comes Whitney. Whitney's just like, well, how do we know that those are real? How do we know that those are real? Those could be just made up. You could have just made that and edited it up yourself. Those aren't real. I don't think those are real. Like, no, I don't think those are real, Andy. Don't even read them. And then Andy, he goes through them. And honestly, if I was Andy, I would have just been like, anyways. Like, okay, you're bringing me out these 2-page scriptures. I'm not reading all of this. And he skims through it a little bit. And basically, he was telling Lisa through text message, like, oh, trust me, I never told Whitney anything. Whitney tried to contact me through her friend Angie or whatever, which, again, Angie should have been on the stage for like 2 seconds, but to give her piece, but okay. So Cameron's just like, yeah, Whitney tried to get some information out of me, and I really didn't know who she was or whatever. I don't even know why she's on the show. They should melt her snowflake for next season. But yeah, I didn't tell her anything that that me and you discussed. And that right there sounded a little bit suspicious. And then Andy goes on to Whitney, and he's just like, so Whitney, what was it that you and Cameron discussed? Like, what was going on? What is this big secret? And Whitney, she lets us know that basically Cameron was having some type of affair with Mary, and that he was ready to get the confidence. He had the confidence to come out and say that certain things are a little fishy at Mary's church, and he was gonna put it on blast and he was gonna expose her, but he never got a chance to do it, obviously, because he passed away. And he also had an affair with Mary at some point in the past, not currently, but in the past. And according to Whitney, he felt that he was used of it because he was young at the time, young and dumb. So he felt like, oh, I'm going through this affair, but it's just like, I really don't know any better. But I'm just like, okay, at what point did he have the affair though? That's what I wish that they would have, spoke a little bit more of, because he said that he was young, but how young was he? Because I mean, at this point, when he passed away, he was an older man. So I mean, at what point did they have this affair? And this is evidence number 2 that this reunion should have been a 2-part reunion, because Andy's next subject is the children. Like, Andy, seriously? I mean, Jen is sitting right there. Like, that could be a whole 25, 30-minute conversation right there. That could be a 2-hour conversation, but yet you choose to talk about the children? I mean, who cares about what Brooks is doing in college and how many feathers he's gluing onto a suit? Who cares? Like, good for him. Kudos to him to try to get out there, be creative in the fashion industry. Kudos to him. And who wants to talk about Jenny's daughter? Yes, she's adorable, but okay, like, we have bigger fish to fry right there. That fish, the purple fish right there, or that bird, well, she's a catfish. I'm not sure what she is in that purple outfit, but she's right there. I don't get it because the Beverly Hills reunion, I believe that was like a 4-part reunion, right? Also, if you haven't watched any of my reviews, for Beverly Hills or Potomac, this is just a little plug. Go back and watch those. Go watch the reunions for those and everything. This is the 3rd reunion I'm covering on my channel, so, this is just a little promotion. But anyways, my point on bringing up the Beverly Hills reunion is that he grilled Erica Jane nonstop for all 4 parts, or at least most of it, like 75, 80% of it, with her legal issues and questions about it. But here, Jen, she got arrested. Like, at least Erica didn't get arrested, but Jen, she got arrested, and you're just letting Jen just sit there like behind her feathers like it's nothing, but yet we're talking about the children, but yet the biggest subject is right there. You're not asking her anything. I mean, yeah, he's gonna ask her a couple questions on the 3rd part, allegedly, from what it seems on the previews, but even that is not enough, because I'm pretty sure he's probably just gonna ask her like 2 questions, like, so how did you feel? Okay, does anybody else here think that she's guilty? Everybody's scared to answer yes? Okay, so, well, that's the reunion. Thank you for watching. See you next season. I'm pretty sure that's how it's gonna play out. And then he brings up Heather and her daughter. And he's just like, Heather, the viewers have had a couple questions and stuff about the relationship between you and your daughter. And I'm just like, Andy, cut it out. You don't have to say viewers. You can say Rafael. You can say my name. He was probably talking about me. He probably watched my video. He was just like, yeah, I need to bring this up because the relationship between Heather and her daughter, it's a little bit intense how she keeps talking about her sex life nonstop. And we all remember at the beginning of this at the beginning of the season, Heather, that's all she kept talking about with her daughter. Like, her daughter would literally go up to her like, oh, hey, Mom, good morning. I just woke up. Good morning. I can't wait to go to college. Are you gonna make bacon this morning? I'm kind of hungry. Can you just make some scrambled eggs? And here will be Heather's reply to her daughter. Yeah, honey, I'm making bacon. So how many people are you gonna sleep with in college? 2 or 3? Tell mommy. You could tell me right now. I could give you some pointers. Like, that's all Heather would do all season. At the beginning of the season for maybe 5 episodes. And I'm just like, okay, Heather, give it a break. So now she tells Andy like, yeah, no, I'm not living through my daughter. Yes, I am. So then Andy asks Jen, why do you think that Meredith was being a bad friend to Lisa? And Jen is just like, well, I feel like she was being a bad friend to her because she wasn't really open to listening to Lisa's emotions. She wasn't really validating what she was saying. And I just feel like the whole situation happened because Lisa was upset because Meredith was friends with Mary. And then here comes Lisa jumping in. No, absolutely not. That's not true. Like, Lisa refused to acknowledge anything anybody was saying about her. And then the flashback, they were quick to play because as soon as she said, no, I'm not upset that Meredith was friends with Mary, what did the flashback show? That she was upset that Mary was friends with Meredith. Like, she was upset that Meredith was closer and she had a closer bond to Mary than she did with Lisa. Probably because their friendship was longer than what she has with Mary. Maybe that's why she's upset. But Lisa, all you have to do is just own it. Just like Lisa Rinna says, all you have to do is just own it and just say, yes, I was mad that they were, they had a tighter friendship, that they're best friends, and I feel like I'm like the third wheel. That's all you have to do. And then maybe somebody will hear you out, but you continue saying no to everything. I mean, at this point, I feel like it's Teresa Giudice underneath this Lisa, and Lisa, she's wearing a mask, and Teresa's right underneath it. Meredith, she jumps in and she's just like, well, you know what, Lisa? I was there for you. I really was. And I did validate your feelings the same way that you kind of validated mine to a certain extent. But that didn't mean that you have to go on that disgusting rant about me and my family. And then Andy puts Lisa on the spot and makes her look like a clown again. Because he's just like, oh, well, Lisa, Meredith has been kind of keeping track this whole entire reunion of when she has been there for you as a friend. And then they flash back, and then at the very bottom of the screen, it says 30 minutes earlier, Exhibit A. It was like 2 or 3 parts of them flashing back to when Meredith kept telling Lisa, was I not there for you? And Lisa kept saying, yes, you were. So Lisa, again, you keep saying, oh, Meredith wasn't there for me. Meredith wasn't there for me. But this whole reunion, all you kept saying is, yes, Meredith was there for me. So which one is it? Was she not, or was she actually there for you? So then Meredith, she gets a little bit emotional because she's just like, well, you know what, Lisa?
I really needed a friend right then and there. You know, I really did. But all you kept doing was just putting this whole Jen situation on me. And you kept wanting me to pick a side between her and kind of mend situations with her. And I just, give me a moment. And then she started crying. But I was looking at these cries and I'm just like, where are they? Like, what's going on? Move your hand out the way, Meredith. I want to see a tear or two, but there was nothing. But then they handed her a tissue. She started crying, and she was basically saying that she just needed a friend right then and there, and she didn't really need all this Jen drama in her ear nonstop. The way Lisa kept forcing her to, you need to be friends with Jen. You need to be friends with Jen. You need to be friends with Jen. All she wanted to do was just kind of mourn and kind of go through the process of her dealing with her dad's death. But Lisa couldn't even do that. Now here's where things get a little bit tricky. And I start seeing Meredith and Heather as being liars, because Meredith says that Lisa never reached out to her. She never called her. She was never there for her. But Lisa, she posted last night on Twitter that she posted these screenshots of the rant that Meredith just went on, and she read from her phone saying, oh yeah, Lisa, I need you. I need a friend, blah, blah, blah. You know, when Meredith said that on the reunion, Lisa's reply to that was, can you chat right now? I don't want you to feel sad. I don't want you to go through this alone, blah, blah, blah. She posted the screenshots of Lisa replying to that same exact text message that Meredith had read to the group right then and there at the reunion. So Meredith, I'm not really sure what you were trying to get at, unless you physically wanted a phone call and not a text message. But Lisa did say in the text message, can we chat? So I mean, maybe that meant a phone call. Maybe that's what you wanted, but I'm not sure why she just said that she never heard from Lisa, when Lisa, obviously she did reach out to you, unless she edited those text messages like Whitney said. Maybe they're not real, you know, maybe that's the case. And then Heather, she also made herself seem like a liar, because she jumped into the situation, and Heather was just really, really trying it. I mean, if I was Lisa, that fishing rod that was in the middle of the group, I would have flung it right over at Heather and Whitney, because both of them were really, really trying it. Yes, Lisa was a liar, and she's getting caught up in her web of lies, but damn, Heather, like, you know, back up a little bit, back up. And Heather's just like, well, you know what, Meredith, I could understand you, because she didn't text me at all either about my dad or anything. She texted me after he passed away. Now that was also a lie, because Lisa also posted screenshots of their conversation, and Lisa posted that she had texted her before and after he had passed away. I believe in the text message, Lisa had put, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. I hope your dad feels better. I'm sorry for what he's going through. And then Heather had replied in the screenshot that Lisa had posted on Twitter. Heather had replied, oh, thank you, blah, blah, blah. I really appreciate it. And then he had passed away. And then Lisa texted her again saying, oh, I'm so sorry for your dad's for him passing away, etc., etc. So Heather, you and Meredith are liars if those screenshots are true. So then Andy tries to move the conversation forward, and he just makes it worse, because he brings up Lisa's hot mic moment and her rant that she went on about Meredith and her family. And he's just like, you know what, Meredith? I know that Lisa has said some pretty foul things about you and your family, and I know that they were very disgusting things to put out there for everybody to hear. And I know that it could be very hurtful and very damaging to you and your family's reputation. But you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to repeat it all right now to you. And then he begins to say the entire rant, word for word, in front of Lisa and Meredith.
Meredith can go fuck herself. I'm done with her, because I'm not a fucking whore, and I don't cheat on my husband, her and her dumb fucking family that poses. Why don't you own a house? Oh wait, you can't, because your husband changes job every 5 minutes. Meredith is a piece of fucking shit. I had your back, and I'm offended by that. Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit garbage. I fucking hate her. She's a whore. She fucked half of New York. She can go fuck herself.
And I'm just looking at Andy like, was that necessary? Of course. Lisa, she's just like, wow, that's a lie. Meredith, she chimes in and she gives her 2 cents, and she's just like, you know what, Andy? It's not necessarily what Lisa said that I was so insulted by. It's the venom and the disgust in her tone that she used against me and my family that I'm so hurt by. I cannot believe that you would use that type of venom, Lisa, against me. I thought we had a stronger friendship than that, but I am disgusted. I cannot believe what I saw. And you know what? I couldn't even watch the entire episode all in one setting. I had to have a 2-night premiere. I used my Friday night and my Saturday night to watch the entire episode. The first half
half was good, but the second part, it was really, really good. And that hot mic moment, it was so good. I know that everybody was loving that on the internet, but it was still very insulting. And I cannot believe the venom that you threw at me. You were like a snake, Lisa. I cannot believe this. Lisa, her excuse, again, because she started backpedaling on everything, and she's just like, well, I'm so sorry, Meredith. No, Meredith, the thing is, I was just in a rage. I was just blinded by everything. I was packing my stuff. I was packing my suitcase. I was trying to leave. I was so upset about everything, and it was just kind of like a huge buildup. And I'm looking at Lisa like, Lisa, just because you're having a huge buildup and you're in a rage does not mean that you say that entire speech about your friend that you're friends with for 10 years. You do not say that about your friends if you're that strong friends, but apparently you're not. And then here comes Whitney jumping in. Meredith, if you want to know, since I'm the pot stirrer, I think that's what it's called. Since I'm the pot stirrer, I don't really like pot though. I do like 420, but that's not the same pot. Andy, did you like my joke? Okay, anyway, getting back to my thing. So Meredith, if you want to know, Lisa has been spreading that rumor that you fucked half of New York City before we even started filming. Just letting you know that. And I'm just like, Whitney, if I was Lisa, I would have gotten up and just mushed her in the face, like, be quiet. And Lisa, she's trying to control everything. She's just like, wait, no, wait, Whitney, wait, stop. Wait, I'm trying to talk, and obviously they kept just driving all over her because she had no control of anything. They just kept piling up on her. And I'm just like, okay, this is getting tiring already. Yes, Lisa she's already exposed as being a liar, a manipulator, or this, that, and the third. But again, Jen is right there. But Meredith, that's all. She said that she watched the whole rant, like 48 hours, underneath 48 hours. And she's still processing everything. And Andy is just like, so what's going to happen now? Where do you go from here? And Meredith is just like, well, I have to process things. I don't want to throw a friendship I don't want to throw a friendship of 10 years out the window. If it was me, I would have opened up the window. Here's the friendship. Whoop. Like, no. What do y'all think? If y'all were in Meredith's shoes, would you forgive Lisa for that rant? I don't know, because Lisa, Meredith did have a point. You did speak with a lot of venom in your voice. You had so much hate and passion in your voice, and it was just like, that was a little bit too much, especially again for a friendship of 10 years. You would think that you will have a stronger will for that. Like, Mary and Meredith's friendship got underneath your skin that much that you have to throw all of that out there, even if it is true. Let's say it is true. That makes you look even worse, because Meredith, she knows the truth. She knows whether she fucked half of New York or not. So Heather, she also jumps in, and Heather, all I kept hearing was wah, 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 wah. Something about Scooby-Doo and Lisa being Scooby-Doo and you had to take the mask off. And if I was Lisa, I would have been like, shut the fuck up. Like Heather was really trying to be like a cool girl with these sayings. First, it was last week saying, oh, you're just a mean girl that practiced reading off a magazine on how to be a mean girl. And now this time, it's the whole Scooby-Doo rant. I'm like, Heather, please, save it, because you're not making yourself look out any better either, because if you want to talk about Scooby-Doo, you're a villain as well. You have a whole mask the entire season, and we slowly saw you take it off, and we saw you for what you were this entire season, especially at this reunion. You're also a mean girl, so that doesn't really, that also applies to you as well. So if I was you, I would save it. Andy, he tries to move the conversation forward again. And he's just like, Meredith, let's talk about what you said at the finale, saying, oh, I know about everybody who everybody dated that nobody wants to talk about. Meredith, being a lawyer, she knows how to talk in circles and talk in riddles. She should have been in the new Batman movie, because she should have been the Riddler, because she's just like, well, yes, Andy. I'm going to save that for my storyline for season 3. Just in case if I have no real storyline for season 3, I'm just I'm going to dig into my bag of tricks, and I'm going to throw out everybody's affair that they're having behind their husbands' backs. And that's what I'm assuming that Meredith is doing. She's not going to put it all out there knowing that was the finale for season 2. She's going to keep it in her card that just in case if anybody wants to come at her for season 3, she's going to know how to low blow them and throw their affair or whatever in their face, just in case. At least that's the way I'm looking at it. And I'm just like, but Meredith, if you're going to say is at least give a hint as something that's going on. I want to know something. Who's having an affair on this on this stage or whatever. And then she also implies that she knows stuff about Andy. And I'm just like, wait a minute, please do tell. Andy, he looked a little bit annoyed. He was a little bit annoyed at this part of the reunion because I feel like he wasn't really getting an answer out of Meredith and Lisa. Lisa makes a joke or a statement, and I'm just like, because Lisa's like, well, I mean, I heard a lot of rumors. I mean, anybody could make up a rumor between Meredith and Jen. I heard a rumor that both of them hooked up in a steakhouse bathroom, and I'm just like, now wait a minute, wait. Let's press pause on that one. Let's elaborate a little bit on that part right there. Because Meredith, I'm not sure if anybody was looking at Meredith, but Meredith cut her eyes over at Jen the minute that Lisa said that. And it was just kind of like, okay, don't say nothing. Shh, don't say nothing that we did in the steakhouse, allegedly. And Jen, I don't know what Jen was doing either, because Jen was trying to seduce the cameraman or camera woman or the camera person the entire time, because this was Jen. Like, all she kept doing was just cutting her eyes at everything. I'm like, why do you look suspicious? Maybe it was the feathers that were in her eyes or something. And maybe she was just trying to look at everybody through the feathers. Maybe that's why she kept looking like that. But the way Meredith and Jen looked at each other, I'm like, Because I had mentioned that in my reviews earlier this season, that I did hear a rumor, I read it online, that allegedly that Jen and, Meredith, so I don't know if that's true or not, but the fact that Lisa brought that to light, very interesting. They also talked about how Meredith and Jen were supposedly dating the same person. Again, Meredith denied it. She was just like, no, not me. I mean, no, I don't really know Jen. I don't know about you either. And again, it's just a lot of things that they're probably covering up, and I wouldn't put it past all the women on this cast to hide something up, because I don't know, all of you are looking very suspicious, especially you, Meredith, the way you were looking like so nervous, like, But again, Lisa, she probably didn't want to elaborate because she probably wants to keep her friendship with Meredith, so that's that. And then for the most part, that was basically the second part of the reunion. Now, here's where Lisa really reveals her reason on why she went on that huge rant about calling Meredith X, Y, and Z. She also said that Meredith, she doesn't believe that she's a whore. She doesn't believe that. So as everything is going off or whatever, Andrew, he tells the ladies, okay, we're gonna cut right there. That's part 2. That's that. We're gonna go on a break. So Andy, he gets up, he goes backstage. Lisa, she decides to get up and she's like, Jenny, move over, move. So then she sits next to Meredith, right next to her, and she's just like, Meredith, I'm so sorry for everything. I'm really sorry. I apologize for everything. The thing is, the reason why I went on that rant is because I heard that you were making fun of my house and my renovations. And I'm just like, Lisa, that's your reason why you called her this, and this, and you accused her of effing the entire New York? Like, no, Lisa. No. Like, that is not what we're about to do. You don't do that in friendships. Just because you think that she made fun of your house, you take it to the extreme. Let's say she was making fun of your house. Okay, that still doesn't warrant the delivery of you accusing her of all of the things that you accuse her of in your hot mic moment. I mean, that is just extreme. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that that's a good excuse? If somebody makes fun of your house, should you also come back at them 10 times lower and, accuse them of being a whore and telling them this, that, and the third about your family? Like, no, Lisa, like, absolutely not. I don't even get it, because if she can do that to a friend of 10 years, I wonder how she is with her husband. Like, imagine at home if, like, her husband's just like, oh, honey, I didn't really like dinner tonight. I feel like it could have used a little bit more spices or something. I didn't really taste anything. Lisa's reply to her husband, John, she'll probably be like, well, you know what? I was going to divorce you last week anyway, and I decided to stay for the kids. But you know what? You could fuck off and get somebody else then. I'm pretty sure that Lisa will also low blow her husband at this point. Like, if she has no regard for her own friend, but I don't know. It's just a lie. And then Meredith is just like, you know what? So what? You're going to accuse me of this and you're going to assassinate my character just because you think that I made fun of your house? Meredith gets up and she walks away because she is over Lisa and her shenanigans and her making up excuses and just making up excuses for her rant. Like, Lisa, no, like, that's not how it goes. So that was part 2, y'all. And also, here's an update that I saw floating online that supposedly they already casted 2 wives, or at least they're testing 2 wives. One is a woman. She's white. Her name is Angie. And then we have a black housewife. I forgot what her name is. It starts with a T. But I believe the other one is called Angie. And then they're also throwing Angie, the Sarah Paulson. Supposedly she's also in the mix. So we have 2 housewives that are white, and we have a black housewife. So Who knows how next season might look? I already seen some footage and some pictures of all of them filming online. They just went on their trip. I forgot, where did they go? They went somewhere in Nevada, I believe, or somewhere in Arizona. It wasn't too far off because Jen, you know, she can't really travel too much, so they can't really go anywhere tropical, which is unfortunate. I would like to see them go to Mexico, go to Miami, go somewhere, go to New York. That would be nice. Maybe they'll run into somebody that Meredith allegedly fucked. But that's that. And Jen, also, you know, reporting lies from Housewives News. Jen, her trial, you know how everything was wrapped? They decided to pick up filming just recently, like, you know, to try to see, like, Jen go to jail, allegedly, if she's accused of being guilty for her crimes. So her case that was now, what, in a couple of days, and actually in 2 weeks, it now got pushed to June, July, I believe now. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with filming. Maybe they're going to stop filming and then they're going to continue filming later on in the summer. I don't know, but as of now, Jen, I don't know, maybe she'll get off, you know, free and she won't have to go to jail. And that was that, y'all. What did y'all think about part 2 of the reunion? I mean, like I said, it could have been wrapped up in 2 parts. We didn't really have to extend this to 3 parts. And I didn't really necessarily like the whole Lisa pile on. I mean, yes, like I said, yes, she's a snake. She's this, that, and the third. You know, she tries to play the producer and the puppet master, and then she ends up being exposed. But it's just like, how much longer are we going to continue on her? We could have just dragged her in part 1. Part 2 could have been Jen. Part 3 could have also been about Jen. But again, just let everybody skate by. You know, Heather and Whitney, both of them. It's just so unfortunate because we all know that the entire cast, minus Jenny, is already filming for season 3. But I just feel like with Whitney and Heather, both of them really I mean, they already showed their colors this whole season and in part 1 of this reunion. But part 2, I feel like they need to split them up. Like, somebody has to go. I think that Heather needs to go because Heather was just, ooh, like, she just kept talking and talking and talking. Like, yes, we are here to talk at this reunion, but Heather, you were just doing too much. And Lisa, for you to be the first chair next to Andy, so disappointing. Like, everybody was coming at you. You can't even handle it. But, you know, you were doing somewhat good the entire season. But obviously, you can't take anybody on. So for season 3, if you do end up getting the first chair or whatever, or if you see like 5 women coming at you, you need to practice. But let me know what y'all thought about this part of the reunion down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all at part 3 of the reunion, the final one too. Bye, y'all. Mwah.